Good evening, folks, and thank you all for joining us. Another edition of the Nightmare Hunters podcast. In the studio with me tonight is Robbie Jed Rains and Kerry Pocket Doc Davis. We're going to hopefully bring you guys a very amusing and entertaining show tonight. We're thrilled to death to have you guys with us. We've already got a whole bunch of people in the audience, and chat's flying like crazy. So we appreciate each and every one of you folks being here with us tonight. Robbie, Doc, how are you boys doing?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
I'm doing okay. Didn't have a great day, but it is what it is.
Hopefully it'll get better.
This will make it more gooder.
I hope so. Occupational hazards of doing the job I do. I can't go into it, but y'all both know.
Yeah.
Well, on a more positive note, though, Robbie's new book came out today. Robbie, you want to tell us a little bit about it? And we are going to drop the link for everybody to get it.
Yes.
Yep. This is the one that kind of bridges the gap, so to speak, in a lot of stuff. It's called Howl of the Night Wolf. It's set in 18th century Scotland, and I really had a lot of fun with this one. Doc and DA will both tell you. I think I really went outside of my comfort zone on this one. No guns involved in this one at all. This is all swords and whatnot. Had to do a lot of deep dive and research into dialect and things like that. Talking with these two of, hey, how's this work? How's this sound? Does this go with this? Does this go with that? A lot of stuff with Doc about blade wounds and things like that. So it was a departation from what I'm used to, but I'm proud of it. I think it was a success. I guess we'll have to wait and see what y'all think. But
yeah, and like Robbie said, it's a really good tie-in. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff that y'all are going to be like, oh. So yeah, really, really good fun. It's a fun read. It's a fun read.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you guys are really going to like it.
And that note, I'm about 37, 38, maybe even 39. I can't remember because of the day I had it. But I'm somewhere upwards of 35,000 words in book 5. So that should be shortly.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, brother. Way to go.
Guess how many words I am in my book?
One?
0.
You should have let me and DA do the over-under on that first, but
well, there's really no under.
True.
I do have my legend that I wrote, and I do think that would make a good basis for a short story of.
You should publish it. Kindle Vella on Amazon allows you to publish short story formats as a book.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, I think what I'm going to end up doing is do like a novella of me and Angie, as our characters. So, and it kind of blends in with you, and I could bring y'all into it as well. So I don't know, man. I think it might be kind of fun.
I think you should do it, dude. Go for it.
I mean, I got it in my head. Angie's read it. And she's like, "Yeah, let's do it. You should do it." So.
We got a full house, guys. I mean, it's already filling up. We're just a couple minutes in. I wanted to take a minute to kind of give you guys a heads up. The other day, I talked about having a doctor's appointment, and this is kind of big news. I've already talked to Robbie and Doc about it. They knew within minutes of me knowing. You guys have known I've been dealing with my back for a long time. Last 5 years specifically has been bad. But the last couple months, it's been getting worse. I've been having a lot more back pain than I had. In fact, you'll probably see me fidgeting quite a bit tonight because it does hurt to sit still. but I'm going to gut through it because I don't want to quit doing the shows. Um, they've got me on a new medication that is not really taking full effect yet, so I'm still hurting pretty bad. But I've got biofreeze all over my back, and that's helping a little bit. But talk to pain management. Since it's been a few years since I had most recent imaging done, they're wanting a new MRI. I'm going in for more shots in my back next week, lidocaine shots to help ease the pain. But known this was coming for a while, but it's still a kind of a tough pill to swallow. There are definitely wheels in the near future for me, so it's not going to be boots on the ground anymore. It's going to be wheels on the ground. I have every intention of still going out in the woods and still doing investigations, but it's going to be in a chair. Just means I'm not going to be running much. You're just going to find a busted chair and a bunch of empty brass. But I'm still planning on going out and still writing books and everything else. Just kind of got to bear with me because I'm in a lot more pain than I care to really admit. It's pretty rough, and I'm going to be seeing my primary doctor on Monday, and he's going to set the ball rolling for my insurance to cover a chair. But it's going to cover a basic one, just your basic hard-wheeled, narrow front wheels. So I'm looking at one that's specialized for people that are active to go on trails and go off road. So I can still go fish. I can still go out and do stuff. Because of the numbness in my legs and the weakness in my legs, I may not be driving anymore. That may be just falling on Noah from here on out. So I'm in worse shape than I really wanted to let on. And it's affected pretty much everything. That's why my books have not coming out as fast. It's hard for me to sit still and spend hours writing like I did. But I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna keep writing. I'm gonna keep pushing. What was it the Navy SEALs say? The only easy day was yesterday. So I'm not the kind of guy that gives up. I'm gonna go down swinging if I go down at all. So I'll show you guys something that I made, and this will kind of give you the idea about how I feel about all of this. Let me find it. I will share the picture. I made this just to let the guys know I was in good spirits about it. It'll take me just a second to find it, and I think it's funny. It's kind of my sense of humor. If my computer will come up, come on.
You should get a tag on the back of it. DA says "Embrace the suck."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You like
that? Yeah,
that?
I'll definitely have something like that. That's going to be my new motto. Embrace the suck, and I've got to see if I can find a Fido patch.
Hell yeah, we're going to get you a pintle mount to mount some armaments on there. Have a couple of smoke grenades mounted underneath there with quick little rings, so you can pop smoke and get the hell out of Dodge.
Damn right. No, I've got that stupid thing. I just don't know where I put it.
What are you doing about it?
Oh, wrong. Sorry. You're going to bear with me a second. I'm hunting up that image. I don't know what the hell I did with. Oh, there it is. I found it. This is definitely my sense of humor. So this is kind of how I feel about the whole thing. And if I can get it to come up, geez. Okay, there it goes. So appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers, and appreciate all the kind words. I've had a lot of people reaching out to me. I'm not giving up. I'm going to try to get a second opinion, but the prognosis is not good. So even if it's not, the next week that I go into a chair, it's going to be not so distant. It's inevitable at this point. My lower back is buggered beyond belief. and it's just getting worse. And that's the problem. I've now got impinged nerves with minimalized feeling down through my legs. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with what a TENS machine is, but it puts electric currents through your muscles. My legs feel like that all the time, like I've got electricity running down them. And my pain management doctor told me she was amazed I wasn't already in a chair. And I said, well, my family are all Scots Irish, and I'm just stubborn as hell. And she goes, I get that about you. Yeah. So that's pretty much where we're at. I still plan on getting out into the field. I'm looking for an outdoor off-road capable chair. The cheapest one I found is around $1,000. So it may be a little bit before I can save up and get it. But I am definitely going to get it, and it's just going to be an obstacle, not an end. The only time something can truly stop you is if you let it. So this isn't going to stop me. It's just going to be an obstacle to overcome. And I've had plenty of obstacles thrown at me in my life, and I will continue to overcome them. As long as I'm, as long as I wake up on this side of the dirt, I'm going to keep fighting. And that's pretty much what it is. Greg House is the silver bullet chair. Yeah, well, Greg, you help me build the damn thing. Put a big block, a small block Chevy on the back of it. But I wanted to let you guys know, because I've had so many people reaching out to me asking what's going on. I didn't want to have to explain it 60 times. So I just wanted to wait and tell you guys all at once. Someone mentioned a wheelchair with tracks. They do sell those, but those are pricey. And on what I make, it would be like buying another car. I mean, they're like 16 grand for the bare bones model. So there's not going to be a tracked wheelchair in my future anytime soon. But this off-road capable one's got rubber tires and wide front tires, so I can at least get into broken terrain without getting stuck. So I'm going to look at figuring out how to get that one in the next month or so. It is going to curtail certain things that I do, but it won't stop me. It won't end this adventure. It just changes how I approach it. So having said that, I appreciate you guys. All the thoughts and prayers. Appreciate every one of you guys that have checked on me and called and sent me messages and emails. And I just want to let you guys know that yes, it wasn't the best of news, but no, it is not going to stop. So, having said that, let's talk about Bigfoot. That's something we all can enjoy, and we'll just go on from there. Jonathan says, "Old redneck build time." Yeah. Don Donaldson says, "Chair tracks and miniguns mounted." That would be funny.
Hell yeah!
Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it, man. And guys, I am going to keep a sense of humor about this. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people that says, "Oh, woe is me," because I've had bad curveballs thrown at me before, and I don't believe in. I believe I've hit rock bottom a few times in my life where I've had to rebuild from nothing, but I've rebuilt from worse. At least I got a roof over my head and my family to support me, and brothers like these two idiots that I can call or get a hold of anytime when I'm having a hard time with it. But I don't have to worry about my next meal. I don't have to worry about am I gonna freeze to death this winter? I don't have to worry about any of that. The lights are still on, the roof's still over our head. So whether or not I'm in a chair with wheels is irrelevant. I will just keep on. And it might change a few things on how I approach things, but overall probably not much, because I'm a stubborn old asshole. Anywho,
you got the asshole, right?
Damn right. I love it.
But you're ours.
That's right. Lene says, "DA, I saw a custom track chair with a gun turret. It was only $6,500. Miss Lene, that would be fantastic, but right now I'd have to finance bubblegum. I can't afford I can't afford the $1,000 chair, let alone a $6,500.
Only $6,500.
Oh yeah. Oh hell. They take a check. I thought they wanted money.
I thought y'all wanted money.
I'll just pay that sucker off. Hell yeah, I can write you a check.
Yeah, I can write you a check anytime you want.
Personal check, if you don't mind, there, little darling.
That's right. Let me just post date this thing to sometime in 2035.
Oh my goodness.
But anywho, you got to keep a sense of humor and stuff like this. If 20 years in law enforcement has taught me anything, that a dark sense of humor and alcohol can get you through anything.
Correct.
Miss Lane says it's not much if you say it fast.
True.
I'll just pop up at the University of Missouri at Kansas City at the medical school and sell a kidney.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah, let's talk about Bigfoot. I've got a special Bigfoot shirt on just for that. So, Robbie, you if you got any ready, got one ready?
Yeah, and this one is from one of our buddies, Rodney. I told you this one, DA. I don't think you heard it, Doc, but and it's not very long, but this happened basically just right down the road from me, about a mile down the road from Rodney's house. Monday morning, August 11th, 2025, at about 5 a.m., my wife was on her way to work driving down Highway 178 towards the city of Pickens. About 1 mile from our residence, she saw a big dark figure across the road in front of her. She said it was bipedal and at least 8 to 10 feet tall, and it ran up a steep bank on the west side of the road and was out of sight in no time at all. That's the one I told you about the other day, DA, that he called me and told me. He was like, and he didn't, at first he was kind of like, maybe she saw something. Then when he went back and looked where she said she saw it and looked at the bank, it was almost like a vertical, an incline like that. And I know exactly where he's talking about. He said she told him it got up that thing or that bank. And I know Rodney's wife. She's not the kind, number one, she's not the kind that goes around saying, "Oh, I believe in Bigfoot." She's pretty skeptical. But when she saw it, she was like, "I don't know what else it could have been." So,
and that's a fairly typical sighting. A lot of people see him crossing roads.
Yeah, she said, got across the road and up the bank and out of sight in like no time flat.
Wow.
And that's a 2-lane highway, so it ain't just a hop, skip, and jump. Then add that, incline on top of that. So he told me today that I had permission to tell that one on there, so I asked him to type it up and send it to me.
Awesome.
Like I said, it wasn't a long one, but
And that's somebody we genuinely know. Well, Robbie genuinely knows him. I've talked to Rodney, but I don't know his wife. But Robbie knows him for sure. So this one's pretty close to home.
And Rodney just said, he said it stormed after that, so he didn't get a chance to see, or he couldn't see if there was any tracks because it stormed right after that.
That would have been cool, man, if we could have got some tracks.
Yep. But like I said, I know the area he's talking about, and it's really thickly wooded, and probably is not too awful far from where that howl was recorded either. So already documented stuff in the area pretty much.
How close is that to the area where you had that? I can't remember who was with you that saw the one from different perspectives behind a boulder.
Me and Johnny.
Yeah, you and Johnny.
Let's see. That was actually in Greenville County, but it was probably not too far from there. It's probably, Rodney, correct me if I'm wrong, we saw it right off of Highway 11 just inside Greenville County on Oil Camp Road. I was maybe at the most 30 miles as the crow flies. I mean, twist and turns probably a little bit more than that, but not really that far at all in the grand scheme of things. and it's like we talked about territory wise, probably a 30-minute walk from one of them, if
Yeah.
even that.
Rodney says he thinks it's less.
Yeah, that's why I said at most 30 miles. It probably is less, but just to be on the safe side.
John Sanchez, Johnny, says yes,
Yep.
oil camp.
Yep. So Johnny, you don't live far from Rodney. You get, because Rodney lives just down the road from you. So how far from your house would you say that is where we had our encounter that time? I say about 30 miles just to be on the safe side, but it's probably less than that. Whatever Johnny says will be pretty close to accurate because he literally lives just right down the road from Rodney. So actually, we probably subtract a little bit from that.
I hear my song being played.
I'm putting a little bit of prescription juice in my tea. Self-medicate.
You can make that tea more gooder.
That's right.
Okay, Johnny said 7 miles from his house to oil camp. So you're probably looking at in between 6.5 to 7, or 5.5 to 6 miles from where Rodney's wife had the sighting then. So not far at all.
Of course, Jeff heard the cork pop too. Put a little bullet in my sweet tea.
Really nice, Clark.
It helped knock the edge off.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I was going to say something then.
Yeah.
Got
That self-medication helps, don't it?
Well, let's just say there was a generous distribution added.
We're going to titrate to effect doctor's orders.
That's right.
I foresaid what I got to say.
That's right.
I consulted my personal physician.
Doctor's orders.
They said cross the road in what, 3 strides?
Something like that. He said it didn't take long. Just put it that
And
way. Across the road.
If that was a 2-lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those are 12 feet wide each lane. That's 24 feet. If it was 3 strides, that's 8.
That's an 8-foot stride.
8-foot stride, son.
That's a big rascal.
At 8 to 10 foot, that's probably about right.
That's a big youngin' right there. Yeah, Lee.
That's a big unit.
That is a big unit. Good night. All right, then. Little Patty, are you really a doc or trained as EMT? Well, Patty, that's a great question. I was trained as a flight medic in the Air Force. Got my paramedic right through that. So I was a flight medic / paramedic. And I have been a critical care and emergency room nurse since 2003. So, am I a real doctor? No, but I play one on TV.
He's a battlefield doc. That's what doc is. What
he
military units call the medic always.
They stayed in the Holiday Inn Express last night, though. So.
That's right. They call me Doc. So yes, if I had played my cards right, that's one of my life's biggest regrets. Is my first biggest regret is not asking my wife out in high school. So we could have been together for over 30 some odd years now. My second biggest regret is not going to medical school. So that would have been my life's dream. So anyway, let's talk about a dog man encounter, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Doc got to see a man about a dog, man.
That's correct. Here we go. Let me put on my reader so I can see what I'm looking at. This is
I'll be
from
right back.
Eddy County, New Mexico, out near Carlsbad, April 1999. For some background,
That's damn near to Mexico.
Yeah, it's way down there. He says, for some background info, I was raised in the desert southeast New Mexico on 2 different ranches, so I'm very well versed in the flora and fauna of our beautiful state. I even used to track semi-professionally for hunters and our local trapper. I know the critters around this state. We always lived on very remote ranches, 50, sometimes 75 miles from the nearest actual town. My senior year of high school, I moved out on my own, being a part of the DECA program to live closer to my job and school, living about 12 miles from Artesia, New Mexico, where my school and job were. It seemed like living right in town after all of that. I guess my story starts in April of 1999, and my boyfriend and I were coming back with or rooming with a couple in a trailer house just outside of Lakewood, New Mexico. We rented a room from them and sometimes watched our 2 kids as part of our rental agreement. For a few weeks that April, a lot of the neighboring landowners have been complaining about wild dogs coming up from the river and harassing their dogs and scaring their livestock. We were about a mile from the Pecos River, and wild dogs have indeed been a problem in that area. One guy had even reported some structural damage to one of his chicken coops. The couple we lived with had 2 dogs, both of them medium-sized terrier mixes, and neither one of them were on the cowardly side. They had been getting very skittish about going outside at night, though. So much so that we had to make sure to let them out right at sunset and again at sunrise because they would not leave the trailer house otherwise at night. One Saturday night around 11 p.m., I know it was a Saturday because I had neither work nor school. Near the end of the month, 4 of us were sitting around watching TV and just basically talking about stuff when the dogs, who were asleep in the master bedroom on the far east side of the house, started growling and barking at the window on the south wall of the bedroom. This was really unusual behavior for them, so we all got up to see what they were on about. By the time we got there, the dogs had shifted their barking away from the window and seemed to be barking at the wall and along the wall like they could actually smell something there, but it was moving. It was very strange, and when they came up to the end of the room, their barking just went crazy. Suddenly, from further down the wall, around the same time where the kitchen was, we heard this loud thump and scuffling sound. It was powerful enough that we actually felt it with it being an 80 by 16 house and all. The dogs at this point just completely lost it. They cried at a high-pitched whine and dove under the bed. We all ran out of the bedroom, down the hall, and into the kitchen to see what the heck was up. Peering out from the kitchen window was pointless as it was late and there was cloud cover and the moon wasn't out. We heard the scuffling noise again from further down the house and went into the living room to see what was up. We were all really confused at this point. But then the next moment seemed to happen in slow motion. Appearing in the living room window from the left and looking right in on us from the glass was, I don't know what. From the shoulders up was what I can only describe as a man dog. Its shoulders were quite human with short, sleek hair, but it had the head of what looked like to be a dog or a wolf or a Rottweiler, and the teeth. Oh my God, the teeth on this thing. All 4 of us screamed at the same time, and I guess that it scared it off because it just disappeared. That image is forever seared in my head. Also of note, this was a trailer house, so the bottom of that window was easily 6 foot off the ground, meaning this thing was at least 7 foot something, if not bigger. No matter how big of a dog or wolf it was, it could not have stood up and looked at us like that in that window. The guys, being guys, immediately grabbed their shotguns, I can't blame them for that, and headed out the door, even though I told them it was a bad idea. Super dark desert night, big unknown critter. No. I guess they were out there looking for around 20 minutes before they came back inside, so they couldn't see anything. From the light from the house was shining on it, and being so close to the window, they were the only reasons we saw it in the first place. None of us really slept that night. It just felt really creepy. The next morning, I got up and decided to have a look around to see if I could find any tracks to identify what it was. The grass and the weeds pretty much hid any tracks right next to the house, although I did find where it looked like something had clawed on the siding along the bottom of the house, making the thump and scuffling sounds. I decided to follow the tracks the guys had made and made a very unnerving discovery. The guys made clear tracks in the sandy dirt, and whatever it was out there did as well, because it was pretty much circling them the entire time at a distance of 40 feet, and the tracks were huge canine that had switched back and forth from 4 tracks to 2, meaning it was walking bipedally for at least half the time it had circled down. Holy crap. They were getting paralleled and paced.
Good thing they were armed.
Yeah. Dude, even still.
That may have been the only thing kept it back.
Even still. Holy shnikes, dude. That's kind of creepy. That's kind of creepy. Dang.
Yep.
That make you go,
Well, the one I've got for you boys,
That's out in the desert.
this one's not from an encounters site. This is from the news.
Really?
On September 1st, in Knox County, Tennessee, another wild dog pack killed a hiker.
This year, September?
Yeah.
No freaking way.
Did they just have marauding bands of wild dogs wandering around Tennessee and Kentucky? Because that seems to happen fairly frequently in there.
I'll ask my buddy Mike because he lives in Maryville.
It says, according to the Knox County Sheriff's Office, it happened around 2:30 p.m. on Friday. We're told a roaming pack of dogs attacked 44-year-old Priscilla Jones as she walked along Sandy Branch in the Flat Lick community. So this was in town. Someone who knew Jones had heard her screaming for help and called 911. First responders found her with life-threatening injuries and unable to communicate. She was taken to Barberville ARH Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. The Sheriff's Department says the death investigation is ongoing. And I'm not saying it's not wild dogs. I'm not saying that. Doc might be saying that, but I'm not saying it ain't wild dogs. But that seems to be a big problem in Tennessee and Kentucky. What the hell?
Seems to be a high concentration of dogman sightings.
So exactly how far is Knox County, Kentucky from LBL?
Or how far is it from Dixon County, where Werewolf Springs is located?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they call it Werewolf Springs?
There's a place in Kentucky they call Werewolf Springs.
No, Tennessee.
Tennessee, that's right.
Dixon County.
Wyatt says there's not that many wild dogs in Tennessee. Yeah, I know, man, because we had some wild dogs in Mississippi. Had, being the operative word, because they got pretty quick.
Those tend to get taken out.
Yeah, they tend to get taken care of real quick, like.
It's not super close to LBL, but that county is right on and partially in the Daniel Boone National Forest, where there are shit tons of sightings.
That's creepy, dude.
Yeah, so it's not close to LBL, but it is literally right up and partially in the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Man.
Isn't Werewolf Springs part of the Daniel Boone?
You know, I think you're right. I think it is.
That's terrible.
Things that make you go.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's so sad, man. It really is.
I'm looking at the map of Kentucky, trying to find Daniel Boone. There it is. Yeah, it's pretty far. It's actually closer to you, Robbie, than it is to LBL. Other side of the state from LBL.
Yeah. I don't think Dixon County is too far from me.
There's a bunch of sightings on MapSquatch in that area.
Where that is?
Daniel Boone National Forest in Kentucky. Sightings all over that area.
I've been trying to focus on the southwestern side of the United States. Holy shnikes, man. Good Lord, son. That's a lot. There's a lot in Florida, too.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, Sam. Huh. That's scary.
It's bush.
Sherry Radway says, back in the day, yeah, they used to shoot stray dogs. Well, I can tell you from growing up on a farm, we did. If there was dogs attacking livestock, we shot them. You know, I hate to sound callous, but you can't let dogs destroy your livestock. That'll cost you your farm and everything. Michael House says, I heard her husband agreed with possible dogman attack. So the damage is likely extensive. It's kind of like that woman that was in Crook County. Was it Crook County, Tennessee, or Kentucky? The two victims. The woman was missing over 40% of her flesh.
Good Lord.
They claimed that was a dog attack. And she survived until she got to the hospital.
Mercy day.
She had been partially eaten.
Yeah. So the husband agreed with a possible dogman attack? That's terrifying. Good night.
Husband probably saw it and said, "Yeah, there ain't no way in hell a dog did that."
God. Well, I mean, with her being injured so extensively, and she was non-responsive or unresponsive by the time they got there, chances are she had lost quite a bit of blood and had gone unresponsive and was right. She was circling the drain at that point.
Thank you, Ed. Hope we have a good night, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Have a good night. Good night.
Yeah, Greg said it best. Literally eaten alive.
Yeah. Oh, little Patty said, "Have you ever heard anything more about that? Was it Amazon or UPS driver?"
It's still an open investigation, even though they said it was the dogs. It's still an open investigation, and therefore they will not release any information on it.
How many years ago has that been?
Can't fool you.
22? 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even at the time they said it was definitely the dogs that did it, but they've never released the necropsies, and it's still an open case. If it was indeed the dogs and they had proof, it would be a closed case. But it's still open, and you can't do a Freedom of Information Act on it. Hell, the people that were killed back in the 80s or 90s in Brown Springs by what they believe was a Bigfoot, that case is still open. You can't FOIA it.
That's funny. I mean, not funny, ha. That's funny as in weird, ironic.
Cajun, the dogs were in the house. They had to go in the house to shoot the dogs.
They had to break in the house to kill the dogs.
Yeah, so it was definitely those dogs.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
And
one of the dogs was one of those dogs was an English Mastiff. I've had English Mastiffs, and they're too lazy to eat somebody.
And the driver was outside the house too, correct?
Outside the fence.
Yeah,
next to the
dogs are locked up in the house. So apparently these dogs had thumbs and keys.
Or they could teleport.
There's that. Yep, you're right, House.
And the neighbor said the dogs were well fed and well cared for. Yeah, Jeff said the dogs locked themselves inside after the incident. Yep. Yeah, the deputy on scene had to kick the door in to go in and shoot the dogs.
The dog screams, "You got to have a warrant to do."
That's not suspicious at all.
No, not at all.
Interesting.
So this is another case in Tennessee and Kentucky where wild dogs are being blamed, but will more than likely remain an open case, so you can't see the files.
Yeah, that's easy. That's the easy way out. Honestly, keeps them having to admit what they don't know what the hell it was.
K. Bauer says Robbie made a joke about dogs having thumbs and didn't even mean to be serious. Yeah, I think it was a dog with thumbs, all right, but I just don't think it was the dogs they killed.
Yeah.
Cajun says, ain't English Mastiffs big lap dogs? Yeah, I've had them, and I've had them when the boys were little. My boys could go up and take food out of his mouth while he was eating. He'd just look at them like, "What'd you do that for? I was eating it." He was not aggressive in any way, shape, or form. He was just a big, lazy dog.
Yeah, Don Donaldson, them dogs even took a shower to get the blood off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Look how smart they were. Ain't that right, Doc?
Yeah, Doc's an ankle biter, though. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. He's too pampered to be a killer.
Oh, he is. He's a sweet little thing. He keeps me warm. He pulled a damn cover off of me last night and I about froze to death. He'll get under the blanket and wind himself up.
Stray Wolf said he was just reading that another woman was found deceased in that area months earlier.
Good night. Well, okay. So Stray Wolf Forge, was it a animal attack or a dog attack from a wild dog or what? I'm just curious. Yeah, just a guy who, yeah, yeah, yeah. Bowers, he is right vicious, man.
The only thing he attacks is naps.
Yeah, and treats. Ain't that right? He heard the T word and he popped his head up.
Jeff says, "What about that bear that supposedly killed a guy in his house in Florida this year?" Yeah, we talked about that one.
Oh,
The guy,
yeah, right.
the old man that was in his camper,
That's
and
right.
whatever it was went in and got him, and they found his body like a good distance away, and then it came back and killed the dog.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's not bears.
Yeah, because wasn't it his son or daughter? He lived out back behind their house or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure bears don't open the door and come in and kill you and carry you off.
Yeah, Cole, we've actually talked about this on the show before. Think of how many homeless probably go missing and never get reported. We've actually talked about that.
Just a guy says that black bear stripped the man of his clothes and hid him under leaves.
Yeah, typical black bear behavior, as we all know.
Oh yeah.
Well, like and Da, like Cole just said about the homeless. We had talked about how homeless, God knows how many, are missing every year.
Yeah. There's a good comment. Sherry Radway says, here in Canada, a little girl was attacked by what police and conservation officers say was an unknown animal, and a week later arrested a 17-year-old boy from town. Haven't heard anything since. How do they go from unknown animal to 17-year-old boy?
Right.
Unless they're just trying to close the case and pin it on somebody.
Monica Davius, if I pronounced your name wrong, I'm sorry, was asking, when did that bear attack in Florida happen?
Earlier this year. I want to say it was like February, March, somewhere around there.
I don't remember how long ago it's been. This year's gone by so quickly. I mean, it's already mid-September almost.
K. Bauer says, DA, remember the lady in Oklahoma or Texas somewhere that was attacked by boars, and the only wound sustained pre-mortal was a skull fracture in the front? Yes, I do remember about that.
Shut the front door. Seriously?
Yeah, I believe that was in Texas.
Well, I know there was a lady in Texas, in Jasper, Texas, got killed. She got et.
Yeah, by that was definitely hogs, though.
Yeah, it was definitely hogs, yeah. She was a caregiver.
Just a guy says the bear attack in Florida was May-ish. So, yeah, it was earlier this year. I just can't remember exactly when it was. I might try consulting the Googles.
Be crazy with that.
Okay, it was in May. In May 2025, 80-year-old Robert Markle and his dog were killed by a black bear in Jerome, Florida, making the state's first recorded fatal black bear attack. The attack occurred when the bear entered Markle's trailer, scattering his belongings. Evidence and DNA from a killed bear later confirmed the animal. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, it was definitely this bear.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole thing seemed weird.
It stinketh to high heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're saying it was a bear attack of it. I would
Land shark.
I would, yeah, I would definitely say that's highly dubious. Candygram, just a dolphin, ma'am.
Land shark. Stop now. Man, we're dating ourselves with that one, buddy.
No kidding.
We're the killer bees.
Kay Bauer says that tells them that she was hit hard and fast from behind and then torn up.
That's freaking scary, man. So Sherry Radway is about an hour. That's about an hour from where she lives, Jerome. Crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, little Doc won't howl, Mary. I've tried. I've tried so much. All he does is cock his head and look at me like I'm an idiot.
Harley does that. I'll howl at him, and he'll raise one ear and go.
Yeah. Ranger used to howl when I would play the piano, only at blues though. He wouldn't howl at gospel or classical, only blues.
He'd howl at the blues. Just gave him the blues, man.
That's it, man. He
was singing the blues.
But this one out here, he won't. He'll bark. Somebody rings the doorbell. That's about it.
Sherry Redway says the town's surrounded by heavily dense woods, thousands of acres of crown state land. The incident in Canada.
State land. Heavily wooded. Interessante.
Very. Robbie, you got another one ready, buddy?
Yep.
I wanted to bring that one up in Kentucky because that literally just happened.
That's freaking scary.
All right, y'all ready?
See.
Yep.
Randolph County, West Virginia, January 13th of 2005. Class A. I'm not good with directions, but it was on Job Road going to Harmon. It was January of 2005, and I was living in Job, West Virginia, with my daughter, who was 5 years old at the time. I was renting a house, which was a little ways from the road. It was about 3:30 p.m., and I was walking down the long driveway to meet my daughter as she got off the school bus. It had been snowing the night before. It was cold out with a few flurries. Well, as I got to the end of the driveway, the bus came and stopped, and I went across the street to get my little girl off the bus. And I turned around, and at first was talking to my daughter. I didn't look straight ahead straight in front of me, but when I looked up, I noticed a very large brown figure standing below my porch, which was second story as I walked up holding my daughter's hand. It just stood there staring at first, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I've been in West Virginia all my life and seen many bear, bobcats, and even cougar. So I knew this wasn't any of those. And it was standing at least 8 feet tall with man-like features. It had a kind of flat nose. Its eyes were shaped like an owl's, and it blinked several times. It didn't move the whole time we were walking to the other side of my porch to go up steps. In fact, we even looked down on it from the upstairs porch. My daughter threw some pebbles down, and it still didn't move. We didn't stay outside to see when it walked off, but I will never forget what I saw because I've never seen anything like that since.
Wow. Yeah. That's a big unit right there.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, and I like it when people like the encounter Robbie had. You know, he can tell you from when he was. Were you 8 when you had that encounter, Robbie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
You can tell people how tall it was based on where it was looking, just like that story I just read, just like that story he just read. You know where they were. You know, and based on how their outside location. So that sucker must have been big. I mean, 8 foot tall. My ceiling down here about 9 foot. It's weird.
I mean, you're looking at something taller than Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
And broader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, my ceilings in my upstairs area is shorter than the ceilings down here. These are about 9 foot ceilings here. My ceilings upstairs is 8 foot. That's almost hard for me to even freaking comprehend. Something touching that with its head. How tall are your ceilings in your room, Robbie, that you're in right now? 8 foot?
Well, I've got that, we call it, not a vaulted ceiling, but when you got here, and then you got a raised up area in the center. I can't think of what the technical term.
It's a tray ceiling.
Tray ceiling, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So 8 foot to the regular ceiling, and then the tray is probably 10 foot. So I've got a 10-foot section in here in this room.
Could you imagine? Yeah, like Toshi, he said, I'm 6'3", and that's like 2 feet taller than me, man. Damn. Right, dude. I'm 5'6". Dear Lord, that's 2.5. That's almost a whole yardstick taller, son. God, that just, I don't know, man. That just kind of is hard to even freaking comprehend. And not even how tall they are, how freaking wide and dense and muscular those suckers have got to be.
Oh yeah.
Holy shnikes. Dang. Well, Patty, Doc, you telling me, well, you're one of few that I am taller than, sugar. That's for sure. Well,
You're taller than Annette. She's 5'2".
Yeah, my wife, well, Angie's 5'1", but she's mean. If she's watching this, she's going, Carrie Davis. No, she's not. She's sweet as hell. But yeah, she's only 5'1".
I tell Annette all the time I can run faster scared than she can mad, but that's not the case anymore.
Hey, you might be able to drive faster. Who knows, man? Get a big enough battery on it.
No, I wouldn't be able to get away. There ain't no ramp on the front porch. She'd catch me at the door.
How'd you get that scooter up on the high dive anyway, DA? Buddin'.
DA, don't answer the phone, Uddin.
Hey, that's what we got to do. We got to build a basically a wheelchair duck.
That's true.
An amphibious wheelchair.
That's true. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Oh, mercy, man.
With a pencil mount.
I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine 8 feet. That's just crazy. Roxanne, it's the little ones you got to watch out for. Yes, because she carries knives with her, and she's like made out of tiger meat and piano wire.
Well, look at it this way. I got two buddies that are both 6'8", and that's big.
That's big, dude.
That's a big dude.
But this is bigger than that.
Right.
And,
wasn't Hulk Hogan 6'8"?
Yeah, somewhere. It's somewhere between 6'7" and 6'8". I think they build him sometimes at 6'9", but I think he was, well, in his formative years, because it's true the body shrinks as you get older, right, Doc?
Unfortunately,
because I think closer to his passing on, I think he was probably down closer to 6'6", maybe, because there's pictures of him in the past when he was like a lot taller than some people, and then pictures later in life where he was not as much taller than them as he was in the past. So yeah,
according to the Googles, he was 6'7".
Yeah, he was billed at 6'8" or 6'9", depending on which federation he was in or which territory he was in at the time. But I think he was probably closer to 6'7" in real life, because they always build them bigger and taller than they actually are, because they always build, like Undertaker's always build at 6'10", but he's actually like 6'9".
I've stood side by side with him at SHOT Show. He came to range day. Dear Lord, that's a big man.
Yeah. Like Kane was built at 7 foot, but Kane even tells a story that he had 3-inch pads on the bottom of his wrestling boots that made him 7 foot. He's actually an inch shorter than the Undertaker. So if Taker's 6'9", Kane's 6'8".
Y'all know who Ryan Miller is? Used to play for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's an ammo salesman, right? I met him a couple of years ago a couple of years ago at this machine gun shootout here. This is me standing next to this dude. Mind you, I'm 5'6". I look like a freaking toddler, dude.
You look like his kid.
I know. Yeah, he's like 6'9", Robbie.
Yeah, well, Jeremiah and Nate are both 6'8", so yeah, that's about the size they are.
Yeah.
Well, Doc, you also lost a little bit of height landing out of airplanes, didn't you?
Actually, I did. I lost almost 3/4 of an inch.
Man, that compressing your spine's no joke.
Because my brothers, they're chiropractors, and they took X-rays of my back before I was jumping, and then they jumped again, All right, they took photos again after I jumped for almost 4 years on jump status, and after 35 jumps, yeah, the impact had shortened me 3/4 of inches. Because if you look at my basic military uh, indoc stuff, I was 67 inches, and then I'm 66 now. So, yeah, I got a lot of compression in my lower spine. So, Richie, y'all are some small guys. Yeah, I am, but I cover every inch of ground I stand on.
Yep.
Yeah, I might be getting shorter in a chair, but I'm still not going to be a damn pushover.
That's right. That's right. I'm little, but I'm mean, man.
You know what they say? God created man, but Sam Colt made him equal.
That's right. And I ain't like my dad used to say. He said, son, he said, you're a little bitty dude. And my dad was like 5'11". He said, you're a little bitty dude. He said, there's gonna be a lot of folks out there bigger than you. Pick up an equalizer.
And I may be only 5'9", but I put many of people in my 30 years in jail a lot bigger than me.
Yeah.
They went to jail and I went home.
Doing that may be why my back is the shape it's in.
Yeah, we all face that, I think, now. The stuff.
Dealing with the consequences of my actions in my youth.
Our youth, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
What was it Groucho Marx said? If I'd have known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself.
Right? Exactly, man. Yeah, because people are like, I'm 54, and I'm like, yeah, but my knees feel like they're 84. So
I got proof of that.
I sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies when I get up in the morning.
My sense of humor says I'm 12. My brain still tries to think that it's in its 20s, but my body tells me I should have died sometime right after the Civil War.
Right? Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, man. Hey, I got a story for y'all. Y'all want to hear it?
Sure.
This is a Class A sighting from Teller County, Colorado. This is from March 19th of 2005 in the summertime, off the road from Woodland Park to Decker. And I know exactly where that is. I've been there. I've been shooting in Deckers. That's actually a cool little place. All right. So my family and I go on vacation every year. One year we decided to go to Colorado on a camping trip. We also would always take our dog, and this year my brother took his raft. After a long trip across Kansas, we finally crossed the border to Colorado. We headed to Colorado Springs, and we were going to stay at a camping ground there. But as usual, we found a place to camp up away from sites or towns. It was pretty secluded where we were, and our campsite was surrounded by woods, except to the east there was a long field. Now, it was the very first night we had two tents. And one tent, my parents and my sister, and the other tent was my brother and his pet. Okay, I thought he said raft. I thought he had, when he wrote this, his pet rat. Okay, so anyways, brothers have got, anyway. All right, we ate a good meal of hot dogs and s'mores and sat around the fire for a little while and went to bed. It was a really clear night. I remember how bright the moon and stars were, and it is really cool up here at altitude to see the stars and everything. Especially when there's no light pollution. I really never heard of Bigfoot or paid much attention to him before, and it seemed like I had much sleep before I got awoke to find my brother's rat digging around in the bag at the top of the little pup tent. My brother let the rat turn around and run in the tent. Its rustling is what I think woke me up. So I got up to take him out, but I froze, as did my blood. I was suddenly wide awake. I stared off because to the left of me, I saw the silhouette of a tall, two-legged creature through the door. We had zipped up the screen and left the cover off, and I was and still am sure it was not a bear or other animal because it looked like a human. Its arms were shorter than its legs, and it was covered with hair. I got the feeling it was alarmed because right when I stopped and jerked my head around, it walked away speedily. My eyes were glued to it, and I watched its every move, and it walked away toward the field, turned around, and I lost sight of it. And it was still upright. I can still remember thinking about the way it moved. It was definitely not normal. It bent at the knee, and it seemed like its whole upper body moved. Of course, the next day when I told my family, nobody believed me, but I know what I saw, and I know that, in fact, that Sasquatch is a living, breathing animal. I don't think it was a threat, but I definitely want to I definitely don't want to bring Sasquatch in for the right reasons. Ever since then, I've been interested in it and cryptozoology. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
Look
mean,
at camping with a pet rat.
that's what I was thinking too. That's a little weird. But
That's
you
a new
know,
one on me.
in the Colorado area, like Fort Carson, there's been sightings down in Fort Carson from soldiers, man. So Fort Carson's a really big training area. They have a buttload of terrain, and there's been dudes that have said, when they're pulling watch or whatever, they got fire watch. They freaking hear it, man, and they see it. They hear the whoops and the calls and the callbacks and everything. So like that. Who did the whoop that night? Was it you or Robbie?
I did the whoop and the howl.
You did the whoop and the howl, right? I did the owl call.
I did the tongue pops.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, I did the tongue pop.
All right. Well, hey,
Clicks, the pops, the whoops, the howls.
all the things. I'll be right back. I got it, buddy. Sorry, dog. I'll be right back.
All right. I do suppose it's my turn to do a story.
It is good, sir.
This one's from Saline County, Arkansas, from fall of 2010, Class A sighting in the Winona Wildlife Area. So, sitting in a tree during deer season, saw a dark figure in the deep brush as I watched it move into an open spot. I didn't know what it was, so I looked through the scope of my gun, not having binoculars on me, and saw it standing next to a cedar tree with its hand on the tree. It turned profile to me, and I noticed that it wasn't any person in a costume as I thought it was at first, in a costume as I thought it was at first. It was about 7'5", deep brown color, had hair from nose down the face, was deep wrinkled, and the eyes had no whites. They were darkly colored, sort of. Scared, I clicked the safety off my gun, and the creature let out a deep grunt, way too deep to be any bear. Then it ran into the thick brush. A little while later, I walked down to where it was to see if I could figure out what it was, and I saw an imprint in the bark like a thumb and two long scratches that were as far apart as my pointer and my pinky stretched out.
Wow.
7.5 feet tall, still a big rascal. That ain't too far from Wyatt.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. Pretty good stretch. Oh, I guess it aired my turn then, ain't it?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Let's see.
How tall was
This
it?
is also
7.5 feet tall.
about 20 docks, little docks, that is.
Yeah. Okay, Dean.
Him's birdie.
Him's a pretty dog. Brush your teeth.
This is also from Randolph County, West Virginia, July 29th of 2017. Let's see, it is a Class B. It's an off-road, or excuse me, it is a road off Harpertown Road from Elkins, West Virginia. Not sure the cutoff road's name, but the area of the sighting is referred to as Lower Cheat by the locals. I have a screen cap from Google Earth that can be provided upon request, and it gives a latitude and longitude, which are approximate coordinates. Last summer, either the end of June or early July, I was out trout fishing the Shavers Fork of the Cheat River in Randolph County, West Virginia. I was waiting on one side of the fork in the river with an island-type feature in the middle of the two streams, and I heard a snap of twigs. I looked up to the island and briefly saw a figure that was roughly 60 yards away, very tall and dark brown or black in color. At first, I thought it was a person. But there was no
facial features that I could make out at such a distance. It was such a distance because it was all dark, and I assumed covered in hair. My next thought was it was a bear, but it walked away out of view moments after I had eyes on it on 2 feet and carried a staff with it. The staff was large, probably about 5 to 6 inches in diameter, larger than I believe a human could or would wish to use as a walking stick. The figure moved to my right downstream a few, or, very quickly and out of view. I was frozen with fear and unarmed at the time, so there was no way I was going to pursue it. I've told a handful of people about it, and most think it wasn't. A handful of people about it, and most think it wasn't true, except my wife, who knows when I'm being sincere. Early this month, I visited my father, who I know is a Bigfoot enthusiast, and told him about the sighting. He urged me to report it on this website, so I'm now getting around to actually doing it. So this one was actually carrying a walking stick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the first time I think I've ever heard one carrying a walking stick.
I mean, I've heard of tools, but I've met spears, things like that, but I've never heard of one actually carrying like a walking stick.
Same.
You think it could have been like an older one, maybe getting a little slow,
Maybe so.
or maybe he had an injury and he was nursing it.
I mean, it definitely is supports the theory of them using tools and other devices.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting.
Very.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's a good one.
I do too. That's clearly intelligent use. That it's using a tool, and if it's a walking stick, maybe it's for a medical reason, or maybe it just discovered that it was easier to get up hills with a good stick. But either way, that's reasoned out.
Yeah, it's true. I like that. I got one from Fort Carson, like I was talking about.
Nice.
So this was in El Paso County, Colorado, 2006, May the 15th. It was spring. Area can be reached via Highway 115 from north or south. Exit Interstate 25 on South Academy Boulevard and drive south to intersection of Academy and Highway 155. Then drive south approximately 20 minutes. I know pretty much exactly where there is. So this guy's a soldier. This guy's a soldier on Fort Carson. And he said, my son and I were turkey hunting on BLM. That's Bureau of Land Management land near Fort Carson, Colorado. We arrived in the area near 0930 hours. My son is only 3.5 years old, so we were moving slowly to find a good spot to set up. We were approximately 500 yards off the west side of State Highway 115 in the Table Mountain area. We found a decent site to set up on and started our hunt. I called a few times with my diaphragm calls, and we heard one turkey gobble about 100 yards away. My son was busy playing with rocks right next to our site, and at about 10:30, I noticed a truck driving down a dirt road that runs through the area. I watched a truck drive through the area as it turned down a left-hand bend in the road, and I caught some movement out of the corner of my right eye. The movement was approximately 600 yards away, so I picked up my binoculars to get a better look, hoping it was some turkeys coming into my calls. When I got focused on the object, it definitely was not a turkey. So I checked it out more and focused the lenses better. What I saw, I don't know for sure, but it appeared to be walking upright on its hind legs and was covering a great deal of ground in a short span of time, but was not running. I estimated it to be around 7 feet in height. It was walking northwest from my location, and after a minute or two, it disappeared in some high brush and thickets. The terrain went up and over a little rise, and I did not see anything else after that. We left there about an hour later, and I was a little bit shaken from the excitement, but I didn't want to hang around too much longer because I have my son with me. I have told no one of this, thinking myself to be a little crazy at the time, but I know I wasn't seeing things, and I know it actually happened. I only tell this now to get it off my chest and let you guys determine what I've seen, if it was true or not. The temperature was warm, and the sky was clear and sunny. What do y'all think? I mean,
that's a good sighting.
I don't think it was a bear.
Oh, definitely not. Even looking at through binoculars from that distance, you'd be able to tell if it was a bear.
Yeah, And a bear, if it's running off, covering ground quickly, a bear ain't going to cover ground bipedal. A bear's going to drop down on all fours and
Because it runs a lot faster.
Yep, runs a lot faster.
Gallops like a horse.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of interesting, man. And I can't blame the dude for not wanting to go investigate. He had his son with him. I wouldn't want to investigate.
No, not with a kid that small. No.
Yeah, I'd be getting the hell out of Dodge.
I'd be marking the spot on my GPS and coming back with a couple of my buddies.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Have you bring back your freaking fire team.
Cajun Dog says if it's a bear, I'm General Lee.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool, man. I like that one. Yeah,
that's a good size one.
Sightings.
I got one that's not too far from where we're going to be in Ohio. It's in Hardin County, Ohio, which is not too terribly far away. Summer of 2002 was when the sighting happened. This is coming in from Lima on 309 East. When you enter Keaton on 309 East, turn right at the second traffic light. After you turn right, go a little ways down, you'll see the bridge. And again, this was reported in 2002. About 3 weeks ago, I was walking down South Layton Street on my way home. It was around 9:45 or 10 p.m. As I was crossing the bridge, I heard a splash in the water under the bridge. I go fishing under that bridge all the time, so I'm not scared to go under there. I decided to see who was down there, so I walked down the side of the bridge to get down there. And when I got to the edge, I didn't see anyone on the bank, so I thought it was fish splashing. River's not deep, not that deep, 3, maybe 4 feet. So I started to walk directly under the bridge, and I heard the splash again. Standing in the middle of the river was a big, huge, hairy ape-looking thing. It didn't look like what I thought Bigfoot would look like. That is, if it was a Bigfoot. As soon as I saw it, the words "holy shit" just came out of my mouth. The darn thing had me, and the darn thing heard me and turned around and started running through the water toward me, making a weird gurgling noise. I hauled ass up the side of the bridge and ran across the railroad tracks and fell and cut my elbow open. I went home and told my mom, and she thought I was on drugs. After that night, I'd make every effort to avoid walking across that bridge at night. Whoever said these things will not harm you is full of it. I truly believe that thing would have got a hold of me. It would have torn me apart. Please take me seriously.
Dude, I mean, y'all remember when we were watching, what video was that where that thing showed up from that dude's camera he had at his campsite? And I said the same exact thing.
Yeah, when you start watching the eyes come out of the dark. Yeah.
I think I still have that video programmed if you want to watch it.
Oh man, yeah, that was an unsolicited natural reaction, just like this dude had when you see something like that. I mean, that's as real as it gets right there, you know.
I think this is the video you're talking about. Nope, that ain't it.
No, that was the 18th.
Oh, then I don't have it set. I don't have it set up then.
Yeah, that. But I mean, that's as natural reaction as you can get. You know what I mean? So,
hold on just a second. Maybe I do.
Ooh, Sherry's got a good one. This year, a fire jumper in Canada's north was fighting a forest fire close to town. Closest town was 100 miles away. He said he saw a Bigfoot family running from the fires. I've heard of that before.
Yeah, we've actually talked about that on the show a couple times.
We have.
When we had all those like the ones in California and the ones up here.
Right. That's right. Yep. Yeah, but I mean that's a totally natural reaction, man, to see something that big and something you've always heard of. That's as real as it gets, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a definite brown pants moment.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Like me and Robbie were like, "Yep, time to go."
What time is it, Doc? 1:30. Get the hell out of here.
Little Patty had a question. She said, "Do y'all think that cryptids are flesh and blood, or they're supernatural, or some or both?" I'm in the flesh and blood camp. That might not win me any friends in certain circles, but in almost 40 years of looking for these things, I've never once seen something that I would consider supernatural. Other people have, and I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're making it up. I'm just saying it's never been in any of the encounters I've ever had. I've never seen anything that I would attribute to being supernatural.
Yeah, I'm in a flesh and blood camp too.
Same here.
Just a guy who yaps his random thought. What if the type 2 dog man, aka the hyena type, are misidentified identifications of cougar men? It's entirely possible. I still want to get down to Drury Mincy and see what we can find.
Man, I wish I had more time off, man.
I wish I'd have hit the lottery the other night.
I know.
We'd all had some time off.
I know. Maybe one of these days my rich uncle gets out of the poorhouse and I can get this outfit sold and give me a little bit more time so we can all hang out and go do these things we speak of on a frequently basis.
Boys, I'm going to mute my mic and turn off my camera for just a minute. My diuretic is kicking in. I will be right back.
I'll read a story.
Go ahead, Doc, and I got another one after that if he ain't back yet.
Okay, Dan. All right. So this is a Fremont County, Colorado, fall Class A, 1987, 10/26. This sighting occurred on Highway 115. Again, Highway 115 must be the Bigfoot Highway in here in Colorado. Main Street through Florence, Colorado. Setting was commercial area with nearby car wash, storage unit, donut shop with an irrigation ditch. This town is just east of the Wet Mountains and the San Isabel National Forest. A coworker and I were finishing up our shift at a donut shop when the incident occurred. Around 2:45 a.m., I had stepped outside after seeing a speeding car go by. When I did, I heard dogs barking and howling like they were barking at something, but it was the howling that gave me the creeps. Otherwise, I'd have passed it off as a cat tormenting a dog. I went back inside and said something about the incident to my coworker, and we kind of laughed it off and finished up for the night. About 25 minutes later, I was in the kitchen area when my coworker screamed, "Get out of here quick!" So I headed to the front just in time to see a very large, hairy-looking thing just walking down the street right under a light, as casual as could be. We both kind of stared at each other for a few seconds. Then I opened the front door to get a better look at this thing walking across the street. What happened next is still very vivid in my mind. My coworker said, "Do something." So I yelled, "Hey!" It never broke stride, but it turned its head and looked right at me. I would not recommend that. Then it walked a few more feet and turned.
What does that remind you of, though? Turning its head and never breaking stride.
The one we yelled at at Block Road.
More famous.
Oh, Patty.
Turning his head, never breaking stride.
Right. One thing I noticed about this thing was it had long reddish brown hair from head to toe and didn't seem to have a neck. It's like its head was just sitting on top of its shoulders. What does that remind you of the sketch that you saw drawn, Robbie?
Thermal Don't Lie.
Thermal Don't Lie. It was very, very large in size. It walked next to a chain link fence that was approximately 7 feet in height, topped by 3 strands of barbed wire, and this thing's shoulders were even with the top of the fence. Holy shnikes. I personally didn't see exactly where this thing came from, but I suspected it came from over Sand Creek Ditch, which runs right through the middle of town. It's a large ditch that allows water runoff from the mountain a few miles away. Several minutes later, the guy who delivered our paper drove up. I had noticed him coming from the exact area we'd lost sight of this thing. So I asked him if he'd seen anything back there, and he said no, but he heard something in an old abandoned building he used to store his extra papers in, and it scared the hell out of him, so he left rather quickly. Just a few minutes later, a police officer pulled up in the parking lot, still feeling shocked and a little scared about what we'd seen, asking to drive his cruiser in the area past the store to see if he noticed anything out of the ordinary. We watched him drive back, shining the spotlight back and forth, and as he turned past the storage units, we lost sight of him. Several minutes later, a few moments later, he returned quite shaken and started asking me what I'd seen. I was rather evasive about my answers. He asked me several times what I had seen, but I never did say. He then asked me if I'd seen a bear, and I said, no, it wasn't a bear. Seeing him slop his coffee all over the table made me ask him what he had seen, and his answer was, I didn't see nothing at all. None of us ever mentioned it again afterwards, and I never really spoke of the incident again until I ran across your website. Dude, okay, so if something is standing next to a freaking chain link fence with 3 strands of barbed wire on top of it, and the shoulders are coming to the top of the fence, that is a large critter. right there.
Yes, it is.
Holy shnikes. Good Lord. I'm just saying. I like the police officer. I didn't see nothing at all. Well, because okay, DA and Robbie, y'all both talked about it. If he said that if he had said he'd seen something, he's gonna go in for a freaking whiz quiz, man.
Damn right.
Yep.
They can be like, this dude is on something, son.
Dear Chief, I hardly know where to begin. It was a dark and stormy night.
See, that's the kind of thing that you guys have both met. Well, Robbie, did you meet? Yeah, you met him. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I could have went to Joe and told him what I saw, and Joe would have been like, "Oh, don't put it in the report, though." But Joe would have been right on board with it. Yeah, he's all about that stuff. But don't put it in the official report.
He sat there and talked to us. What for? At least a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe's good people. He definitely believes in the Ozarks legends.
Yep. Thanks, Billy. Oh, DA, while you were reading your last story, I went ahead and went through and made sure everything worked. So the print copy or the print edition is in approval now. So hopefully the print edition will be
up sometime probably tomorrow. It generally takes about 24 hours.
So Kindle and audio or Audible are both live now.
Outstanding.
It's just a matter of whenever they approve it for print to be available.
Yeah, so if that thing was standing, Long Queen had a question, 8.5, 9 feet, man, at least, because if it was standing shoulder to shoulder with a big cyclone fence or shoulder to top of the fence, that's big, man. I mean, some of those fences are 8 foot high. So
I got one for you guys. This one's from Trigg County, Kentucky, literally just outside of LBL.
Oh, wow.
This was reported in 2010, summertime Class A sighting. From Cadiz, Kentucky, follow 68 west heading toward land between the lakes. Turn right on 1489 to the Lake Barkley Road Resort and Marina. The incident took place about 2 miles up KY 1489 Road from KY 68. My encounter took place while leaving the Lake Barkley Resort. My family and I were driving back toward the main road that leads to Cadiz, Kentucky. I was going about 50 miles an hour when I saw a deer run across the road. I thought I saw a tree next to the road, but it was running. It was taller than the top of my minivan and looked right at me. We passed it in about 3 seconds. I was not really sure what I saw, so I turned around to see if it might have been a tree or something, but there was nothing there. I remember afterwards that it was a large creature with tannish brown fur around 7 feet tall, with an almost Neanderthal brow and a flat nose. It was hard to tell what color the fur was exactly since my headlights are tinted yellow. My son, who was in the back seat, also saw it and commented on it. The animal was running upright along the edge of the road. It seemed to be chasing the deer that had run out in front of our van literally seconds before. It kept pace with me for about 3 steps, then dropped back. When I looked in the rearview mirror, it had run off.
That's big, dude.
Head was taller than a minivan. That's a good sized fella.
Yeah. Everything, all the stories we've been talking about tonight, these things have been no less than 7 feet tall, man.
Well, that one we saw in the water there at James River, down at the end of Blunk Road, that thing had to be every bit of 8 feet tall.
At least.
Because that water was at least 6 feet deep out where it was at, maybe deeper.
Well, the ones up in the trees on Moon Valley, they were at least 8 feet tall. Based on how the size of those trees that that y'all were walking towards, that I was looking at, yeah, those things were massive, dude. Wow.
Yeah. Well, even think about the eye shine that me and you and Noah saw in Joe Ball that night, DA.
Yeah, that was pretty high off the ground too.
I was saying, unless it was climbing a tree, that was 8.5, 9 feet off the ground at least.
Yeah.
And depending on where it was standing, because I mean, when we actually got down there the next day, it could have been taller than that. Because that was kind of downhill, and
in a depression in the ground, basically. So,
Man. Man, that's just hard to even freaking comprehend, you know?
did you see the video that was sent to you and I earlier, Da?
Yeah, I didn't haven't had a chance to go over it yet.
Audio is. I told that individual, and I ain't saying nothing because we wouldn't give him permission to say anything. But I told that individual that it reminded me a lot of what happened to the three of us that night in Moon Valley.
I'm going to watch it after the show. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Been kind of nuts today.
I will, Doc, if you want me to, I'll send it to your messenger, Facebook, so you can see the videos and the audio we're talking about.
Yeah, please do.
See if you don't have it remind. Not that it was an owl call like we got repeated to us, but just the general feel of everything and what happened to them.
That's pretty crazy, man. Because I remember I did that owl call and we got nothing. You did the wolf call and they got an owl call back. They didn't even do anything with tongue pops or whoops, but man, that owl call got a freaking response.
So the wolf call got a response of an owl call. I may call me stupid, but I didn't know wolves and owls talk to each other, but apparently they do.
Yeah, apparently they do. Imagine that.
Gets kicked in the head by a mule, eyes crossed, falls in a well, they go straight. I don't know.
Boys, I hate to do this to y'all and to the crowd, but I'm going to have to call it early tonight. My back is killing me.
All right, brother. We get you.
Even with a good couple shots of bourbon in me, it's hurting pretty bad. I'm going to have to call it early.
We understand.
I apologize, folks. I'm just, unfortunately, it is what it is. I wasn't even sure I was going to try to do one tonight, but I decided, what the hell? I want to at least give it a shot to see how well I do. So we're going to go ahead and start winding down.
An hour and a half. I mean, that's pretty good if you're hurting.
Yeah, I've been hurting for a while. Just going to say something. Robbie, tell them about the new book.
For those of you who came in a little bit late, book 4, which is still in mine and DA's universe. It's a different story, but it takes place in 18th century 18th century DA. I always make sure.
Yeah.
18th century Scotland. Yeah, 18th century Scotland. There's some dialect in there, but don't worry. I made sure and put an index and a glossary in the back so you can go and see what the words actually mean and what the phrases mean. So go check it out. Some of you I've already seen. Some of you got it. The audio and Kindle are both live. The paperback should be live just any time now. I put it in while we were doing some stories tonight. It's like I said, it's kind of a departure from some of from all 3 of the other books, but I think y'all enjoy it. It was these two will tell you that I really had a good time writing this book. I had as much fun writing this one as I did writing the very first one. Not that I didn't enjoy, books 2 and 3 in the Shadow Walker series, but this one, it was a whole different ball game. There was a whole different set of rules, and I really got to kind of make the playground, so to speak, and I enjoyed it. And these 2 knuckleheads seem to enjoy it, so I hope y'all do too.
I'm sure they will.
And book 5 is going to be as different as book 4 is from 1, 2, and 3. Book 5 is going to be that much different from the first 4. But ask this guy right here what he said when he read what I sent him the first time. He scared the crap out of me because he says, "You up?" And it was like 11:30 at night. I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Meet me in the backstage area, or meet me in the studio." And I'm like, Okay.
Robbie was thinking it sucks.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh crap, he hates it. It sucks. I'm gonna have to scrap this and start over. And he proceeds to say,
I told him how good it was. I mean, he was really got me going with it. Really drew me into the story fast.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
very
same.
impressed with it. His progression is coming along so good.
100%.
so hopefully that'll be done in maybe another two weeks or so. And I mean, I'm hoping to be done with it before that, but I'm trying to give DA because I know he's got crap he's dealing with and stuff. So hopefully I want like DA and I were talking about Monday night. I'd love to have it ready and done and with us in Ohio. But at least I'll have at least 4 with us in Ohio. But hopefully this one will be the 5th one that'll be ready. So hopefully,
dude, that's a big step up right there. Last year you didn't have a single book on the table. You hadn't written one yet.
That's right.
4 books in a year for just starting out, dude. That's pretty damn good. By anybody's standards, that's damn good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'll take some compliments tonight, DA, just to make you feel better.
Just run with it, man. Just run with it.
I'll run with it, Doc. Take it and run with it.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Hey.
Doc, you want to tell us a little bit about Dark Angel Medical for us?
Sure. So head over to darkangelmedical.com. Use the coupon code CRYPT20 for 20% off. If you have a HSA or FSA account, you can use that as well. Having a kit is one thing. We sell trauma kits. We sell first aid kits. We sell minor stuff to major stuff to mass casualty stuff. But the big thing is, I always say this, is if you have a medical kit, trauma kit, whatever it is you have, make sure that you have the training to go along with it because it goes hand in hand. It's complementary. So make sure you have the training necessary to use this stuff. And so we provide not only the kits, but we also provide the training. So all of our kits are backed by our kit for life guarantee, basically stating that if you use one of these kits to save someone's life, just let us know and we'll replace what you've used absolutely 100% free of charge. And our training, we have a training calendar that's up through the rest of the year. We're starting to do classes. We're starting to schedule classes for next year. So if you want us in your area, shoot us an email to info@darkangelmedical.com. Let us know, man, because we'd love to come teach you and get you to learn on. And if you don't like people and don't want to come to a class, that's cool too, because we got an online training class. And if you don't want to spend the $80 on that, that's cool. You got a month to take it. But if you don't have the $80 to spend on that, then we also have a YouTube channel and we have a free 30-minute training video talking about tourniqueting the limbs, packing junctions, and sealing the box. So head over to darkangelmedical.com and get that kit, get trained, and be the difference.
Right there, Doc. Tourniquet the limbs.
There you go.
Pack the junction, seal the box.
That's right, baby. So, yeah,
And
buddy.
folks, don't forget to check out Robbie's new book. You can also check out all of my books on Amazon.com or daroberts.net. And hope you guys will join us on Saturday night. Hopefully, I'll be feeling better by then. The new medication will hopefully have kicked in, and I'll be a little bit more comfortable. And again, join us again on Monday night as well for Monday Mayhem. We're having a lot of fun with that. The story's really starting to take flight. But I wouldn't be one of my shows if I didn't mention the 22 a Day Foundation. We lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and that is 22 too many. Same toll is being taken on our first responders. Reach out to the people you know and love. Any people you care about, let them know you're thinking about them. Let them know you care, because not all the wounds are physical. You can't see all the scars. You never know when somebody's fighting demons you know nothing about. So that one text you send them, or swing by and have coffee with somebody, or invite them over for dinner, that might be what keeps them off the edge that day. And at least 22 times a day, people are losing that grip on the edge. So again, reach out, let them know you think about them, let them know you care, because 22 a day is 22 too many. we're going to close her out with a toast, and if y'all don't mind raising a glass with us. Nope, I hit the wrong one. God dang it. Doc, you want to lead us out with a toast?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is from the Irish song called The Parting Glass. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Slán Java.
Good night, everybody. Slán Java, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night.
Plains, the winds are howling, saloon doors swinging, shadows growling. Three lawmen stand tough as rawhide. Yeah, Doc and DA, nothing can abide. Whiskey shots and poker faces, staring down the darkest spaces in this town where legends roam. These boys bring justice, sending evil home. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Jed's a howler, claws of steel. Doc's a biter, makes a devil real. But DA's a shifty one, a shape-shifting soul. Can turn to anything, takes any form, takes control. Tonight the chupacabras come to town, sucking the life from all around. But these lawmen, they ain't afraid. They'll face the darkness unafraid. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Bat wings flap, the air grows cold, a chill and trap. But these lawmen, they're ready to fight underneath the pale moonlight. Jed and Doc transform with a howl. DA shifts, becomes a night owl. Together they stand, a force so strong against the evil right in the wrong. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night.